Hey guys. Okay, so we're back with another one today. Just gonna quickly show you how to do Kali Linux for Virtualbox. Because I also get asked how do I do Kali Linux on Virtualbox. I don't have, VMware Player or VMware Pro or whatever. So you download it. You just go to Virtualbox. So we're just gonna. I'm on Windows, so I'm gonna download it for Windows. You also need this extension pack right here. So I'm gonna grab that. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and install. And it should only take a second. So I'm just gonna go with the defaults, right? And at the same time, once that's finished, should automatically create a NAT network for us. So just give that a minute. So once it installs, hopefully I don't have to reboot. It should be fine, but we'll see. So let's see. Okay. So you're just gonna double click that, and it's gonna install this Virtualbox extension pack, right? So we're gonna install it. So what that does is it just gives you a little bit of extra functionality and support for different various devices, right? Let me just check my preferences here. So default machine folder, I'm gonna change. I'm gonna use my VM drive here. Let's see. The network doesn't look like it's created one for us, so I'm just gonna make one. It's fine. Okay. So that's done. So what I'm gonna do now, so you just, again, like I said before, you just jump into Kali Linux there. You go to the downloads, and we want to go to the Virtualbox. Okay. And we're going to grab this Virtualbox images. Let's see, that's not gonna, I think I'm getting blocked here, so let me, from my add-ons, let me grab it in here. There we go. So you want to go to the Kali Linux Virtualbox images. So you're gonna download the OVA, right? The 64-bit. So we're gonna grab that right now. So that'll take a second. Take a minute or so. So I guess I went kind of quick on that. If you have an issue with your network, you can just go into your preferences and go into network, and you can create your own NAT networks and stuff like that, right? For it to work. You can also use bridged, right? So let's see. What else can we look at? Network manager, host network manager. So it's a Virtualbox host only Ethernet adapter. That's all good. DHCP servers enabled. Let's just check the properties here. So you can configure this as well to your own, how you want it, right? Your own subnet. I'm just gonna leave it at default for now. That should be downloaded in a second. There we go, done. So let me grab that. Let's see. It's done. Okay. So you got the OVA here. So I'm actually just gonna cut it, and I'm gonna paste it into my VM drive here. Close this. And you can either do it two ways. You can either double click this OVA here, or you can just go import. And it's going to ask you where. So you just go to where you got that, where you put that OVA. So if you just downloaded it and kept it in downloads, it would be in here, right? Otherwise, it's going to be where you copied and pasted. So I'm going to open that. And I'm going to hit next. Might be a little bit of lag because I didn't reboot my computer after installing. So you can go through here and you can edit some of these settings. So I'm going to put 4 CPU and I'm going to put 4 gigs of memory. Let's see what else. Network adapter, base folder, that's fine. And then here's your include only network adapter, that's fine. So you hit import and it's gonna extract and import that OVA into a new machine. So it's only gonna take a minute. And it's really easy. You don't have to go through, if you use the OVA file, or like in my last video, you use the other pre-configured systems, you just import them. That's it. You don't have to mess with ISOs or anything else like that, or go through any install process. You just grab it from the website, download it, bang it out, you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it. I'll just let this finish importing here. So, and I get it, I know you're probably saying, oh, why are you using Windows? Why are you using Windows 10? Here's the thing. I'm using Windows as my host for my virtual machines because, one, my hardware is really new, and you know, the way that my PC is with the hardware, the Linux, there's a lot of the parts of the Linux kernel that don't support some of my hardware. So for me to make things easier for my life, not having to compile my own kernel and stuff like that, I just use Windows for my host. If I want to use Linux for whatever, I can just open up a VM and it's all good. And that's it. So here you can see now it's powered off. So all the settings are there, like how we configured. You can also just hit the settings tab here and you can adjust anything you want. So if you want to change some of the settings, you can change it, right? So for example, you can change the RAM, right? I leave these at the default, so I don't really change anything. I don't add any extra stuff to it. This is set at the default for now, so let's just see how that goes. Everything looks good. Storage. I do set this as a solid state because it is. Here's the network. You can also add additional adapters, and if you want, you could change which network you want to use, right? And that's about it. Alright, so let's start it up. See how that goes. I haven't actually used Virtualbox in a while. I do like Virtualbox, don't get me wrong. I personally use VMware Workstation, but I like Virtualbox just the same. I mean, they're both great, right? And that's it. There you go. So you can see we're already booted. So let's log in. And basically, it's the same process as the last video. Now I think I may have to adjust some of these settings. No, it should be okay. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, looks like it's fine. Keep settings. I don't know why the mouse looks all big. The mouse pointer, that's kind of weird. So basically it's the same process. I go through and I set my, turn off all this stuff. Turn off the power management so it doesn't go to sleep on you. I don't really know why the mouse pointer is so big. It's kind of weird. Scaling is off. So for this one, I mean, you may have to install something. It'll update, and then it'll grab everything it needs. There's some additional stuff that you need. I think it might need some OVA tools or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember now. I haven't used Virtualbox in a while, but it's pretty much the same thing. So once you go through your update process here, it'll be all good. Some people say, oh, well, it lags, it's laggy, and this and this. I've never experienced any issues with Virtualbox or VMware. One thing that's important though is you do want to have a good fast drive. I mean, an SSD is going to make all the difference, right? Because it's virtualization, right? There's no hardware. It's all done in a virtual environment. So I mean, you're going to want to have a good fast SSD or an NVMe drive. I run my games off an NVMe drive because I just find it better for the games that I play. But it's good to have a nice dedicated SSD for virtual machines. I mean, I could use a regular hard drive and it'll work much the same. There won't really be much of a difference. The biggest thing is good solid fast CPU and decent memory. I don't have like the highest spec machine in the world. It's not like super wicked. I got some fairly decent memory. It's cheap. It's just some HyperX. It's not like the best of the best. So I mean, you don't need a lot of stuff to get a VM going. So let's see how this goes. I'm not even sure why the scaling is all off, but it's probably because it needs to install something. So let's just see what happens after this updates here in a second. I did forget to go through and do some of this stuff. So because of my monitor size, I normally change some of these options here, like for when I do my videos and stuff like that. Let's just fix that a little bit there, and then see if I can. Hopefully this will work for. Let's see. I mean, obviously you're gonna get a little bit of lag and stuff when you're updating and all that. Until everything is all updated, you might have a few little quirks or whatever to deal with, but it's nothing like, oh my god, I can't use it. Remember, you don't even need all this power for Kali Linux to run properly. I mean, it'll do things just fine with the stock specs, so it's fine. So let's see. Okay. It looks fine. I don't know why the cursor looks so big. It's weird. And that's it. That's basically all there is to it. And I think so for this one, I'll wait till it reboots. So basically for this particular machine here, the way that I do it is, if I'm using Virtualbox, once this finishes and updates, I'll show you what I mean. Let me change some of this a little bit from the last time I used it. So it's nice, it looks good, it's got nice little effects to it. So for this particular, what you could do for this machine, I'll wait till it reboots. Let's see how this is going. It is a little bit slower than VMware from what I can see here. So, see, it's hitting the swap. I don't know why. It shouldn't be. There's enough memory there. I don't know why it's. It has to be something to do with the update, I guess. It should be fine after the update. So you see here that default is AVM. I don't know if that makes a difference or not. It is a little bit slower for sure than VMware. So I don't know if VMware player would be any faster, but we'll see. Could also be too because I didn't like reboot my system or whatever. So I should cut this and paste it into my VirtualBox. Yeah, VirtualBox sets it up a little bit different. It's VirtualBox, virtual disk image. You can actually see it updating. So I mean, you would think it would be faster because it is still in one disk, so it's interesting. Now you can also copy these too, so I mean you can technically just copy this folder, right? You don't need the clone feature in the paid version of VMware. So this will be done in a second. And you can see they got all the links and everything there too for support. So let's see. This should automatically install. From what I remember, the last time I used VirtualBox, it installed everything it needed like as soon as I did the update, so I didn't really have to do anything extra. So we'll see. I know it's laggy like on the first initial install. Like see how, right? That's just the way it is when you're updating. But after you like install all the updates and everything and reboot it, it'll be fine. It won't be like that anymore. From what I can remember anyway. I mean, I don't normally use VirtualBox, so let's see. Let's see what it's doing. It's rebuilding the kernel here. Let's see. Done. Okay. Let's reboot. So what I didn't mention in my last video is if, you know, I got a list of some videos I'm gonna make. I know I haven't really been making videos very often lately. I've been kind of busy, but I do have a little list made up that I'm gonna, you know, touch on some of the basics and stuff like that, because I get asked all the same questions all the time. Usually it's about how do I install Kali Linux and what pen testing distro do I use and blah blah blah. Yeah, I know, like Parrot's great, you know, you can use any Linux for penetration testing and all that stuff, but listen, here's the thing. I always go back to what's your time worth, right? I don't want to spend 10 hours, you know, building my own Arch Linux and then, you know, installing my own repos and everything for all different kinds of tools and stuff like that, and trying to manually update everything and get everything to work only for something to go wrong, and then all that time was wasted. You know, I like simple, you know, and fast. And the reason I go with Kali Linux is because for the majority of the things you have to do, you pretty much have all the tools that you need. The other thing is it's running in a virtual machine. It's sandbox, so I don't need to have a user account. I don't have to, you know, I know what I'm doing. I'm not going to do something stupid and then, you know, but it doesn't really matter even if you do something stupid, because it's just a virtual machine that you can just delete and do it over. You know what I mean? So, you know, at the end of the day though, you know, you have to use what's good for you. The reason why I like Kali Linux is because it's already all set up for you pretty much. It's easy to get started. You don't even really have to update it if you don't want to. You can pretty much just go in and use it right off the bat. I mean, they do update. It's a rolling release. They update all the time, but you can pretty much just download the OVA or the VMware machine and import it, and that's it. You can go right to work. You don't have to mess with it. You don't have to take 10 years to set up, you know, frameworks and, you know, and then keep typing in a password to, you know, to do different things and having a user and a root account and all this other kind of stuff. Like, every time you do something, you're wasting time, right? If you have to keep typing in your password, or if you're blocked from doing something because you're not root and you're using a user account, and, you know, all those little things take time, right? The other thing is, like, you know, app compatibility. Kali Linux has, you know, the updated versions of all the tools that you would ever need, and pretty much anything you want to install or use or whatever, it's all there. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if this is frozen now or what's going on. There we go. Okay, so let me reboot this. So yeah, that's my little takeaway from why do I use Kali Linux, because everybody says, oh, what distribution do you use? Really, you could use whatever you want, and maybe I'll make a video about that later. But you know, if you're just doing like CTFs and, you know, capture the flag exercises, and so let's see, if you're just, you know, whatever, it's easy, fast, quick, right? So you see, like, I don't know, the mouse pointer is still funny looking to me. Let's see here. So mouse pointer is, you need to capture the moist. I don't know what this is, what they're talking about here. So let me see. Oh yeah, so we can insert the guest edition CD here. Let me do that. Let me get that going. So to get that going, it's pretty simple. I'm pretty sure it's already done though, because if I change my necessary, that step's necessary, but we'll do it anyway. So if you do want to install a guest edition CD, it's pretty simple. So what you do is you grab, where is it? Let's see, where is it? Windows, Solaris. I don't even think we need any of that stuff. I normally don't do it that way, if I remember correctly. So let's see. Pretty sure it's already installed, but so we've already done the update and all that stuff. So let's just see. Pretty sure it's already done. See, it's already installed, right? Yeah, we don't even need to do that. It's already done deal. So wouldn't even worry about that. All right. So this is fully updated now, as you can see, right? Let's see. Let me just check it out here. So it's all fully updated. So just like the other. But I mean, you can see it's, you know, it's snappy now. It's not that bad. I mean, depending on what you're doing, right? It seems to be okay. So let me just see. Let's grab these updates while we're there. I mean, I don't know about you, but it looks pretty quick to me. I don't know why anyone would say that it's laggy. It seems to be fine, you know. Right? So you can see we're on that NAT network that we made, right? Everything works just fine. So that's good. I'll just show you quickly as soon as this finishes here. So what I do, like when I'm once this part goes and finishes, basically now you're ready to rock and roll, right? You're ready to go through and do whatever it is you want to do with your Kali Linux, whether it's doing CTFs or, you know, using it as a penetration testing tool, or I mean, there's lots of things you could do, right? You can, you know, you can even, you know, set this up with SSH, and you can have it running, right, on your server at home or whatever, if you port forward properly and you have everything configured, you know, the way that it's supposed to be configured for remote. I mean, you can SSH into this machine from anywhere and you could utilize it, right? So, you know, that's awesome, right? So let's see. Obviously, you'd have to use bridge networking for that. So what I'm going to do now is shut this down. Right, so that's off. So what I do here is basically you do snapshots. So what I'll do is you can clone it, or you can do a snapshot, right? So if I wanted to clone it, it'll, you know, it's the same process, right? You just clone it and you ask it where. You know, let's say I want to change the location. I can just, you know, stick it anywhere I want. I'll just stick it in here. Alright, let's see. Keep disk names, keep hardware UIDs. I'm just gonna leave it with the default for now. Right, full clone or a link clone. It's, you know, basically it's the exact same options as, you know, see, for me, like, just some of the scaling on some of the stuff because of my monitor resolution, you know what I mean? That's the only thing that I can see, right? Yeah, because I'm running at 4K for me, but I mean, it works just as good, and that's it. So that's all you gotta do. So I'm gonna let that finish cloning there. Well, actually, I'm gonna let it finish cloning. I'm gonna delete it because I don't need it. So hey, I hope this helped you. If you got any ideas for any other videos with regards to virtual machines or Virtualbox or VMware, let me know, and I'll try to see if I can make a video about it. I don't know, for me, I just find it easier to, like, when I don't know something, to watch a video than try to read a bunch of blogs and shit. And sometimes I just, you know, usually the first place I search for anything I'm trying to do, or usually YouTube, because chances are someone has made a video about it already. And, you know, like I said, time is money, right? So what's your time worth? You know, why waste time when you can learn something quick, you know, and do what you gotta do? Why mess around? You know what I mean? So, I mean, this does seem to be a little bit slower than VMware, but that's neither here nor there in reality. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Peace.